Welcome to a deep dive you won't soon forget. We're diving headfirst into the mysteries and maybe even the misconceptions of Kundalini energy.
That's right. We're about to unlock the power of this often misunderstood concept. And let me tell you, this is not your typical self-help seminar.
No, not at all. Our main guide today is Invoking the Power Within by Paul Dobree-Carey. Have you had a chance to look this one?
I have. Now, this isn't just another one of those dry textbooks on spirituality.
Yeah, Dobree-Carey really lays it all out there. I mean, he shares his incredibly personal experiences with Kundalini awakening, weaving in ancient wisdom, even a mind-blowing encounter with get this, a king cobra.
Yeah, you heard right, a cobra.
More on that later. But first, let's break down this whole Kundalini thing. I mean, Dobree-Carey describes it as this potent, spiritual, sacred fire, almost like a liquid fire flowing within. Pretty intense,
Yes,
right?
it's vivid. It really grabs your attention. But what really struck me was how he presents it as this transformative energy we all possess, not just something for, spiritual masters up in the Himalayas or something.
Right, exactly. So not superhuman, but fully human.
Exactly. This idea that the potential for this, profound personal change isn't something out there, but rather something that's already within us.
Okay, I like that. Kundalini is like a dormant power source just waiting to be awakened.
Absolutely. Waiting to be awakened.
Now, Dobree-Carey himself had this, sudden Kundalini awakening, and it totally changed his life. He describes it as both awe-inspiring, but also a little overwhelming. He actually compares it to a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly.
A complete metamorphosis of his being.
Yeah, a complete and utter metamorphosis. So we're not just talking about a little energy boost here.
Right, and that's a great analogy because it really highlights the need for careful navigation with this. Just like a caterpillar needs the right environment to transform, we need the right knowledge and tools to manage the intensity of a Kundalini awakening.
Right, it's not something to take lightly.
No, not at all.
Respect the process. Now, Dobree-Carey describes this energy rising like a serpent, up the spine, activating these energy centers or chakras along the way. And get this, he even quotes ancient texts that use this same serpent imagery.
Yeah, it's powerful imagery for sure, and it's not unique to Dobree-Carey's experience either. The serpent, the rising energy, these are common threads across, various spiritual traditions when describing this.
Fascinating. So it's like this universal language.
It is. It really is. Think of chakras like spinning wheels or vortices of energy, focal points along your spine, and they can influence everything from your physical health to your emotions. Each chakra corresponds to a different aspect of your being.
So like the root chakra down at the base of the spine, that's all about grounding and feeling secure, right?
Right.
And as the Kundalini rises, it's like it's energizing these different aspects of ourselves as it goes.
Exactly. But what's really interesting is that sometimes these energy centers can become blocked. Imagine a kink in a hose.
Oh, I see.
Those blockages can create resistance as the Kundalini tries to rise, leading to imbalances in our lives. And that's where things can get, complicated.
Now, you might be wondering about the potential pitfalls or misconceptions surrounding Kundalini, especially with all this talk about powerful energy and potential blockages. Is there a wrong way for this awakening to happen? Okay, yeah, so speaking of blockages and things getting complicated, the book takes this fascinating turn. Dobree-Carey actually recounts his real-life encounter with a king cobra.
Oh, yeah.
Something out of an Indiana Jones movie or something.
Right.
Except it happens in Thailand. Can you imagine?
Well, that's the thing about Kundalini awakenings, right? They can be triggered by the most unexpected events.
Oh, absolutely.
Almost as if, the universe is trying to get our attention. Even if it means sending a cobra slithering our way,
Right. Yeah, not exactly subtle. I don't think I'd sign up for that kind of wake-up call.
No kidding.
But anyway, Dobree-Carey describes being alone at night when this cobra, which he later calls Babaji, appears out of nowhere.
Wow.
And he even mentions these striking details, like how this snake seemed to have these markings that look like spectacles on the back of its head.
It's those little details that make it so compelling. And he doesn't shy away from the fear he felt either, which I think makes the whole experience even more relatable, But what's really intriguing here is how he connects this whole encounter to the Naga.
Okay, so hold on. We're going from a real cobra to, what, mythical serpents now?
Yeah.
This is where I need you to walk me through this.
Okay, yeah.
Who are the Naga, and what do they have to do with Kundalini?
Well, I mean, Dobree-Carey doesn't just throw in these mystical creatures for like shock value or anything. He really delves into the rich history of the Naga across all these different cultures.
Okay.
And they're often portrayed as these guardians of wisdom, guardians of treasure, often associated with water. And think about that symbolism for a second. Serpents, water, treasure. Like, what does that evoke for you?
Themes of transformation, maybe? Hidden depths? A connection to, like, our subconscious minds?
Exactly, you got it. And significantly, the Naga are often respected, even revered, not feared.
Interesting.
Which I think, challenges that kind of westernized view we have of snakes as inherently dangerous. Remember, the serpent is also this powerful symbol of healing. Think about the rod of Asclepius in medicine, right?
That's so true. We often associate serpents with negative things, but in so many traditions, they represent, like, transformation, healing, access to some deeper knowledge.
Right, exactly.
In fact, there's this one passage where Dobree-Carey actually suggests that the treasure, the Naga guard, is really the wisdom that's accessible through Kundalini awakening itself.
It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? It suggests that the real treasures, the real wisdom we seek aren't external, but rather are within us.
Right.
And sometimes it takes an encounter with, the unexpected, even something as startling as a cobra, to really, like, jolt us awake to that reality.
So we've got this powerful energy within us, Kundalini, often symbolized by a serpent. We've got these ancient guardians of wisdom, the Naga. But how can understanding all of this be relevant to someone listening right now? Even if they don't consider themselves particularly spiritual,
Right. And that's where the real beauty of this whole concept lies, I think. It's not about subscribing to any one belief system or anything. It's about recognizing that potential for transformation that I think all of us have within us.
So it's not about becoming a monk on a mountaintop or anything, or chanting ancient mantras, unless that's your thing, of course.
Right, exactly.
But it's about, like, tapping into something deeper within ourselves. But how exactly do we do that? Is there a roadmap for this kind of transformation?
Well, Dobree-Carey actually uses this phrase. He calls it a spiritual crisis.
Oh.
Which might sound a little intimidating at first. But he really frames it as a positive crisis, a catalyst for growth. Think of it like this. A caterpillar might experience its transformation as a crisis, but the end result is something beautiful and far more expansive.
Embrace the discomfort.
Exactly.
It's like those, what are they called, growing pains we felt as kids?
Yes.
Except this is for our soul.
Precisely. And just like those growing pains, this process can be, let's say, uncomfortable at times.
Yeah.
Dobree-Carey doesn't sugarcoat it. He talks about the importance of facing our shadows, those parts of ourselves we tend to hide or deny.
Right. It makes me think of that Carl Jung quote, enlightenment isn't about chasing the light, but about making the darkness conscious.
Yes.
So how do we start confronting those shadows, those less than ideal parts of ourselves? And what does that even have to do with the Kundalini energy?
That's where the real work begins, and it's deeply personal. For some people, it might be about acknowledging and confronting, like, limiting beliefs that are holding them back.
Right.
For others, it might be about addressing certain emotional patterns that no longer serve them.
Right.
The book really emphasizes that this awakening of Kundalini isn't just about these, like, mystical experiences, although those can happen.
Yeah.
It's about using that awakened energy to really fuel your personal growth.
So it's not about becoming somebody else, but it's more about becoming a more, complete, more integrated version of ourselves.
Exactly.
But it all sounds a bit daunting, to be honest.
Sure.
How do we even begin to approach this this inner serpent of Kundalini energy with, respect and, like, a willingness to learn, like Dobree-Carey suggests?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And there are many paths, and what works for one person might not work for another. Some people find practices like yoga or meditation to be helpful for connecting with that inner energy. Others might find it through creative expressions, spending time in nature, or even, like, deep introspection.
So it's about finding what resonates with us, what helps us tune into that deeper part of ourselves.
Exactly.
It's not one size fits all.
No, not at all. The key is to approach it with curiosity and an open mind.
Okay.
Remember, this whole Kundalini thing, it isn't about forcing anything.
Yeah.
It's about creating the space within ourselves for that transformation to unfold naturally.
This deep dive has been quite the journey. We've gone from the pages of a book to ancient mythology, and even had, like, a almost like a face-to-face encounter with a cobra,
Yeah, it's been wild.
all in the pursuit of understanding this powerful energy within us called Kundalini.
And hopefully what you'll take away from this whole deep dive is that Kundalini isn't some like far off, mystical concept that's reserved for a select few.
Yeah.
It's a natural part of, what it means to be human.
Right?
And it holds the potential for profound personal growth and transformation, no matter who you are or where you come from.
So if you're listening to this, think about what treasures, what wisdom your own inner serpent might be guarding. What steps can you take, even small ones, to begin that journey of self-discovery? That's it for our deep dive today. Until next time.